Present.
Nan Johnson,
Present.
Lindsay Baker,
Present.
and Mary DeCourcy, present. APL staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Michael Zeller, APL director.
Present.
Excellent. So we will call this meeting to order. Oops, sorry. We have, we will review our minutes that were provided to us tonight by Erica. Matt, did you have a chance to get those minutes?
Yes, I did.
Excellent. Very good. You did mention that we might have to give spelling.
Yeah, and it got brought back down. I just responded to the wrong.
Okay.
So that was me.
Okay.
I'm noticing one of the bullet points didn't print out, which was
Oh,
my husband printed them out, so it might have been his computer problem. Sorry about that.
You're excellent with the minutes.
It's just hard for me now. Just missing bullet points.
I had a question. There was a double, both the, and I don't see it, so perhaps the program eliminated it. Yeah, I don't see it, so.
Oh, good. Maybe he corrected my grammar. That'll be a first.
That will do it, yeah.
That'll be first.
Are you gonna wait for any discussion about items?
I want to just make sure everybody has read it, and then absolutely, if anybody has any questions or comments before we vote, feedback.
I agree with the statement. I just wanted an update on the membership to the library trustees, how that went. We can pick it up at any point. It's not funny, I don't find that. Let's hope it got corrected.
well, I did catch one thing. MBLC is the Massachusetts Board of Library
Board.
Commissioners.
I was in my head with Mass Bay. I'll fix it. Man, one of these times.
Sorry.
It's all right. Board. I got it. I'll fix that. Someday.
Yeah, it's the Board of Library Commissioners, right?
Yes.
Commissioners.
Yeah.
I knew that in my head.
Awkward.
It's alphabet soup.
I'll correct.
Does any, so sorry, does anybody have any comments, questions, discussion?
Motion to accept?
Motion to accept, do I have a second?
Second.
Second. I'm just gonna do a roll call on that. Matt Toth,
Yes.
Erica Breesacker,
Yes.
Vera?
Yep.
Nan?
Yes,
Lindsay?
Yep.
Mary, yes, unanimous, thank you. Thank you so much for preparing the minutes, Erica. The next item on our agenda, we are open to public comment. Would anybody like to make a public comment, please? Join us, anywhere you like, anywhere you like. Welcome.
Well, Al Rafferty, here in Auburn. I was watching one of your meetings the other day, and one of your board members was talking about, thank you, that's a microphone now, was talking about the wonderful staff that exists here at the library, and he went on about it for quite a long time, so I was convinced, they must have a really fantastic staff. This board member loves it. But then there was something that was brought up. There was something brought up, streaming services that the library has. And at the time, through the board, through the chairman, the library director says, yes, we have a streaming. I don't think it's Canopy, I think it's something else. And I know Canopy existed. Now, I had logged into the Worcester Library to take advantage of Canopy, because I'm a big film buff. And for some reason, it said, your library doesn't have this streaming service. This was about a year ago. So I says, I guess I can't check out through Worcester. I have to do it through Auburn. Recently, or not too recently, a few weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, I came by and for a different issue, and I just mentioned to the staff member, he says, yes, I think you don't have any streaming services here, do you? And he says, no, I'm not aware of any streaming services. Now, this was after the new library director had been hired. And from the meeting, my takeaway was the streaming service had been initiated upon his arrival, because he said he had subscribed from his old library, subscribed to Auburn to the Shrewsbury Library. And yet the staff member says he wasn't aware of any streaming services. So I just wanted to alert you to the fact that the staff apparently was not informed fully, or maybe he forgot that you actually had a streaming service that was available. So I wanted to mention that, because that drew my ire briefly, because it was like I asked about it when I wanted to use it, and I was told, no, we don't have any such thing. And I particularly may have asked for Canopy, but I guess there's another one with a stranger name. And that's it. That's all I wanted to mention, that I had an issue. And then finally, my wife, who also likes to tune in and watch your show, she brought up the fact that she said you had mentioned the schedule, I guess, at that meeting, and she said, Al, did you know the library is not open on Sundays? And I says, yes, I'm aware of that. She says, other libraries are open Sundays. She says, why don't they open on Sunday? And I says, I think I'll mention that to you when I go down to see you. Why isn't and maybe it's a union thing, but it just seemed odd that a library's not open on Sunday when people have lots of free time. But that's all I wanted to say.
Well, thank you, but I also want to thank you because it was you that got me to remember that we have to have open comment again when we had a conversation at one of the election events. So I thank you for that. And did you say, just for clarification, did you say that you asked the staff member a couple of months ago?
Time is flying at my age.
Okay.
Here today, gone tomorrow.
Okay.
But like I said, it may have been it was at least a month, maybe 2 months ago, but I know that it was mentioned when I know the current director was in charge. Okay. And yet the staff member says, no, I know of no such streaming services. Okay. And so I'm happy to know that you do have it.
Right.
That's great.
Did you want to make?
It's a great service.
So I appreciate you bringing that up. Is there anything that you want to clarify or any questions that you want?
Are we allowed to respond to public
Well,
comment?
actually, I'll clarify that for you.
Thank
If you reply to public comment, you may be in violation of open meeting law.
Okay.
So I don't recommend that you do
Okay.
Because there is someone in town who's notorious for doing that.
I know that. And thank you for coming by. Appreciate you.
I'll reach out to him in a second.
Thank you,
Clarify
thank you.
things, yeah.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is discussion and vote for the 2026, 2030 strategic plan.
All right.
It is beauty.
I just am so
Mary?
impressed. Yes.
Mary, did you get my 2 pages of notes on corrections?
Uh, Are you
I think-
joking?
I think
You are
it's joking.
joking. Okay.
I'm joking, of course.
I can be very gullible at times. So yes, I'm going to hand it over to the team.
Yeah, all right. So I noticed with alarm, my notepad is very low on battery, so I'm hoping it doesn't run out before the end of the meeting. But yes, we finally have our completed strategic plan. I know you've all had a chance to kind of look it over and offer comments. So this should be, well, the one thing that will change is just there's a little section in the back with the date.
Yes.
Once we've approved, we'll add that in. But yeah, this is the real deal. I thought, for the sake of anybody watching this meeting, that we go through. The plan itself is
Yes.
about 13 pages with appendices that are significantly longer than I can include here. But the actual goals and objectives, which are the meat and potatoes of the plan, I thought I'd read through that just for anybody watching
Sounds great.
after the fact, and then we can talk a little bit more if we want. So going through, it is made up of five goal statements with supporting objectives. So I'll just, for viewers, I will go through all of them now. So goal statement number 1 is to strengthen community connections and awareness of the library's value so that all Auburn residents of every age and background see the library as a central hub for learning, creativity, and connection. And in order to support that, our objectives will be build and strengthen partnerships with schools, senior centers, and local organizations to expand and diversify participation in library programs and initiatives. Then number 2 is develop outreach strategies to connect with community members, especially new residents, non-users, and underserved populations. Number 3 is gather community feedback regularly to inform programs and services that reflect local needs. Number 4 is develop and implement a comprehensive and consistent branding, marketing, and communications plan. And number 5 is strengthen the library's online presence, including website and social media engagement. So that's all for goal number 1. Goal statement number 2 is deliver a diverse range of programs, services, and experiences that inspire curiosity, support lifelong learning, and reflect the varied interests and needs of all community members. And to support that, objective number 1 is fully incorporate attendance and community feedback data into program planning and evaluation process. Number 2 is utilize circulation statistics, patron feedback, and library best practices to further develop library collection. Number 3 is develop program and collection offerings that represent and engage community members with diverse generational, cultural, and experiential interests and needs. Number 4 is develop digital collections and strategies for promoting digital literacy. And number 5 is strengthen teen engagement through dedicated programming and volunteer opportunities. For goal statement number 3, we have enhance and expand the library's physical spaces to create welcoming, flexible, and accessible environments that support community building, creativity, learning, and exploration. And to support that, our objectives, the first one is assess current space usage and identify and execute on opportunities to expand and reconfigure public areas. Number 2 is improve accessibility, lighting, and signage throughout the facility. Number 3 is create flexible spaces that can adapt for meetings, programs, and quiet study. Number 4, plan and advocate for long-term facility improvements that meet community growth needs. And number 5 is deploy technology to enhance user experience, staff productivity, and accessibility. So now moving on to goal statement number 4, it is grow and sustain a skilled, motivated, happy, and effectively staffed team that delivers exceptional library service that continuously meets the community's evolving needs. And to support that, we have objective number 1 is develop and maintain a thorough staffing plan designed to ensure workplace efficiency and equity. Number 2 is ensure staffing levels exceed library baseline service demands. Number 3 is provide ongoing professional development and cross-training opportunities for staff. And number 4 is foster a supportive, collaborative work environment that values staff input and creativity. And finally, goal statement number 5, secure the library's future through strategic advocacy, transparent stewardship, and diversified funding to steadily expand and enhance service, staff, and facility improvements. And to support that, we have the first objective is collaborate with the town and trustees to advocate for consistent and sufficient funding. Number 2 is pursue grant opportunities and alternative revenue streams to supplement municipal funding. Number 3 is communicate the library's impact through data, stories, and annual reporting to advocate for consistent and sufficient library funding. Number 4 is encourage community participation in fundraising and advocacy efforts in collaboration with the Friends. And number 5 is establish and deliver consistent and transparent procedures for budget-related reporting to the town and trustees. All right, so a few little follow-ups. So the entirety of the plan, all of the information about how we conducted it, what our findings were, all of that will be up on our website within the next day or two as soon as we get those final little dates and things installed, along with all of the appendices, which those are mostly made up of the last page of the actual plan lists what the appendices are. It's mostly the like nuts and bolts of the results and things from the different surveys and studies and focus groups that we conducted. So those goals and objectives that I just described, those will be what will shape our action plans going forward. So as much as this will be done in a few minutes when you folks vote on it, the next step for me and my team now is creating an action plan, which also needs to be submitted to the state. And so we will be forming action plans for the next 5 years based off of this, creating tactile, measurable, clear-cut goals, assigning them to different individuals on staff, which will then also spin into the new personnel evaluation system that Dory, the town manager, and her team are starting to roll out. So this is very much a moving from kind of big ideas down to the actual nuts and bolts of what this will look like in the library for the next 5 years. So yeah, any questions, any comments, anything else anybody wants to pull out of this?
Yes, Matt. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
You know, I really liked all the goals. But I tell you, not only that, but on page 5, you took down the whole section on what we learned. On every one of those, the thing that I really liked is it would say this reinforces that people are at the heart.
Yes.
Insights highlight the importance. This is really interesting and good to read. And it really explains exactly what you're going to do and why you did what you did and what you're going to draw from that. I really, really like that. So I have no other comments except I really like that. I like the way the goals are stated and clear how you're going to evaluate those. I'm really happy with this.
Yeah, I second that, and I really appreciate the graphics. First of all, beautiful.
Barbara did a wonderful job.
She did, and the things that you included on the inside of the cover, wonderful diversity of things that are going on in the library, and giving honor to that. And I love on page 6 where they juxtapose 1967 what the library looked like, and in 2025. That is awesome.
Yeah, was that
Thanks,
your idea or?
Well, was it Molly that found all the old pictures?
Yes,
Thank
yeah.
you, Molly. Molly found all these great old pictures, and then
That's great.
I wanted just to have more diverse pictures of
Yes.
the library and programming and whatever we could kind of drum up. And so the team took these great photos of the library today, and I said that would be really great because it's kind of the transition from what did we learn, what's the past, and then into the plan. And so I'm glad you guys are responding to that because I really liked it.
And just the inclusion, how you were very inclusive about everybody's feedback, and I would second Matt's comments about what we learned from the process.
Yeah, it was very. I think this was Lindsay's takeaway too. I mean, it was very clear what the community wants from the library. Like everything, all the different groups that we talked to, all the different surveys that we conducted, the data was very uniform about they wanted this to be a place for people, a community hub. Even the specific little nitty gritty things that people were asking for were largely uniform. So I do feel like I feel very confident that the goals and the actions that we take from this plan will really deliver to the community what they want.
So we're going to get a Zen garden?
A Zen garden? is that it? I guess we still have space in the back.
Except for the mud and rocks at this point.
So any
That's
other
the part of the Zen
comments?
garden.
It is.
Yeah, are there any? So I think just as a reminder, so what we had voted on or sort of gone through last time were the actual goal statements, but this is our first meeting where you guys are getting a chance to speak to the supporting objectives. I mean, super happy if everyone's just a-okay with them, but I just wanted to give a moment in case anyone had a question, concern, reflection on the objective statements themselves. There's obviously quite a lot of them. I think there's 4 to 5 per. But yeah.
I mean, I personally really, really like it. I'm super excited that we have a plan that reflects community needs and community wants because, that is the whole name of the game, right? But I like that there are multiple points under each goal because it does help with, measuring success and progress and what have you.
Yeah, and I'll be as it does indicate in the plan. I will be. The action plans my staff and I will develop together, but we will present those to the board and present regular updates on progress that we're making through them. So it's clear that this is an action oriented strategic plan.
Excellent. And to that, just in terms of frequency on that reporting, it does say, so measuring and communicating our progress on page 10, it's the last paragraph on that page. We just highlight this for us because this is relevant for us, is that every 6 months is the commitment outlined here. Mike, Barbara, and I kind of bantered back and forth, and it was like anything more than 6 months is a little overkill. It's hard to track and it's hard to report out that frequently, and you're not seeing the transformation or the progress as much. Every year is probably not enough because then if we start to lag behind, there's no opportunity to fix. So we landed on 6 months, but I just wanted to call that out because in case that got missed by anybody.
That sounds good. That sounds good for all the aforementioned reasons.
Yeah. That's typically what we've done at other libraries that I've worked at. Because like Lindsay said, if it's more than that, the reporting starts to detract from the ability to actually get the work done. So.
Right? It seems like a bear of a task.
Yeah.
So explain that to me, please. Each one of these objectives will then have a definite pinpoint for it.
There will be, below these objectives will be like sub objectives that are like the actual action items.
So one will have a matching one underneath.
Yeah.
And this will be 6 months. Which ones are you going to pick?
Well, that's what my team and I will decide. So we have a managers meeting tomorrow. So once this is approved and we can actually act on it,
This is heavy stuff to be doing to pick which you want to develop on right away, 6 months.
Yeah, and the first year will obviously be a little bit, and since it's still at least for a few more days, technically my first year, a little bit of a discovery process. But as we go along, it'll get easier to pin this stuff down. And I would like to develop a format for an action plan, probably similar to what we used in Shrewsbury, that is easily replicable. So we're not having to reinvent the wheel. This first one will probably take us a little bit longer than the others, just because we're building it from scratch.
It's really nice that you're able to bring best practices from Shrewsbury because I think it's useful. Why reinvent the wheel when you already found it?
Anything else?
I'm just really happy about this, and I think it's something that we can be very proud of.
Agreed.
Yeah, and I do, I
You
mean,
guys worked hard. Barbara worked hard. I think that's really great. Excellent.
yeah,
I'd love to talk something, but I really couldn't.
There is a section in the back with like call outs for, and thank yous, acknowledgements. But I do, on the record, want to take a minute to, thank all of you folks, especially Lindsay, for all of your help with this process. I want to absolutely thank Barbara, who really,
Yes.
put, was a hired contractor, but put a tremendous amount of effort into this, especially in the face of certain very difficult personal challenges that she faced throughout the process. And I want to thank members of the community, everyone who was on the Strategic Planning Advisory Committee for all of their help and giving up numbers of hours over the months.
I just took a note that I was hoping we could send them an email. We still have everybody's emails,
Yes.
and maybe we could send them and say, "Hey, here's the product of your volunteering."
Yeah.
But yeah, and everybody in town government, the town manager's office, for being so supportive and so helpful through all of this, and really anybody in the community who participated in the focus group or filled out any of our surveys or any of that, because it was really the full community effort that helped us get this done in a timely and efficient. I mean, we really only came in about a week longer than we said we were going
Yeah,
to be.
really,
So.
really.
And that's what I want to comment on, that you two worked in such an amazing way at keeping us on task and making sure that we gave you feedback, making sure that we understood the beginnings and the deadlines. Unbelievable. Thank you so much.
Good job.
Yeah, I agree. So do we
Right.
want to vote on approving the plan? What is our next step? I'm reaching to the team.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the strategic plan 25 to 26 to 30.
Excellent. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Going to do a roll call. Matt's a yes. Erica's a yes. Like, don't need to speak for you.
No.
It's not usually like me, but Vera,
Yes.
sorry, Dan,
Yes.
Lindsay,
Yes.
and I totally support this 100%. Still a school teacher at the end of the day. Sorry, guys. So we'll move to the next item on the agenda, which is a director's report. Michael?
Yes. So, the strategic plan, getting that done was kind of my big agenda item for the day, but I still have my usual updates. So I've got our little flyers here. In December, the library welcomed 6,673 visitors. We loaned 7,403 physical items. We loaned 2,358 ebooks. We fulfilled 1,221 holds. We hosted 62 events with 1,532 attendees. We loaned 32 museum passes, and we hosted 506 computer sessions for 323 hours. We also have budget stuff that I passed along. You should have that in your packet. I think actually Dave remembered to email that to all of you.
Yeah.
I've been on vacation for the last week and a half, so he should have sent you all of those. I don't know if anybody, this month's is pretty straightforward. I don't think there was anything.
Can I just ask one question on the report out on the numbers? So just because Hoopla launched last month.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is there any way to add that to this in terms of reporting? Because I know
Yep.
there's like unique tracking of that, and
Yeah.
it has like budgetary implications. So just that might be interesting to
Yeah.
see.
Do you want it? Because normally when I used to do this back in Shrewsbury, I would just lump all of that in with electronic items, so that line item. I can pull it out as something special. I don't know if we haven't really had it live long enough to.
Just off the top of my head, about 50 patrons have signed up so far.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only been a few weeks, so.
I defer to you on how to incorporate it, but I just think it would be interesting
I
to
can-
see that, or at least talk about it.
Yeah.
And it promotes it that way, makes
It does, yeah. It helps
more
us to
visible.
know.
Yeah,
that
I'll
it's
bring. On this sheet, I'll lump it in with the other. I'll change that from ebooks to e-content.
Makes sense.
Good.
And then
Okay.
I'll bring that statistic along myself just so we can talk about it. But
Great.
I'm sure it's it's a very popular service in
Yeah.
most libraries. So I'm not. It might take a little while to gain some traction, but I'm sure it will be successful.
Great.
Not backpedaling. Did anybody have any questions about budget stuff? Anything that jumps out? I think we've got the bill schedules and the full budget that Dave passed along. Again, we're pretty much on track with all of our spending. It's 6 months through the fiscal year, and we're at about 50% with most line items, outside of things where we had like big one-time expenses.
Is the lost fees for replacements kind of a rolling item? It accumulates through the years, because that's a considerable.
Yes.
Amount.
Yeah, that amount, because that's a separate line item that we keep, like that doesn't roll into the regular budget. That's just always there. So
Stays there, but
yeah.
it roll year to year, it would roll over.
yeah. I'm sorry, I shouldn't. It doesn't get lumped in with the regular budget. So that stays there year to year. And Dave has said we've actually been, I guess in the past that line item would just kind of sit there. So we've been actually trying to spend, when we replace things, spend that money
Absolutely.
instead of regular collections money. So
That's good. That seems like a sound plan.
I thought so.
That's what it's for, right?
It's free money.
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you.
All right, so then moving on to my sub point. So I think everybody knows, starting today, we have new library hours. It's not actually that much of a huge change, but I think it shifts things more in a way, going off of the strategic plan, I think it shifts things more in a way of what the community actually wants, and just makes the hours a little more consistent so they're not confusing. So our current library hours, starting today, are now Monday through Thursday, 9:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So what that is in practice is we're open half an hour later on Monday, really to just make it consistent with the rest of every other day. But we're open an hour longer Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then we close an hour earlier on Friday. So it really, we're open like an hour and a half longer than we were before. But I think those hours in the evening will
Easier
be
to
more,
remember. Right?
Yeah, it'll be easier to remember. It's more what people see. People ask for more evening hours and Saturday hours, which we're working on.
Okay, that was my question.
Yeah, but the reason that we shifted this way is it will also make it's less of a burden on staff to shift the hours this way too. That's why if we close a little bit earlier on Friday, it makes it easier to staff those later hours later in the week. So I don't know if anybody has any comments on that.
Do you guys don't get much foot traffic on Friday nights, do you?
Not, I mean, I don't think that extra hour really.
I mean, not Friday night the library doesn't seem like it would be party central, so it's a logical place to
Yeah.
carve from.
Trim a little.
Yeah, I mean, historically, a lot of other libraries that I'm aware of close a little bit early on Fridays,
Yeah.
specifically for that reason, because they're not getting a lot of traffic at that time. It's people usually prefer later weeknights than later Fridays. But Saturdays we're working on too. Just have to do a little bit more staffing stuff, and then we'll be able to do full days on Saturday.
How about that?
Yeah, I think that will. That's what the community wants.
Great.
Yeah.
I think that's really good. Those additional hours during the week.
Yeah, I think people will appreciate it.
Eventually having something free to do on a Saturday, snowy, frigid
Yes.
afternoon
Yes.
indoors sounds really nice.
Yeah, I mean, that's the nice thing. Doing a full day on Saturday will give us the opportunity to do Saturday programming, to do, some more things. It's just a question of staffing. We just need to be able to cover the desks and things, but we're getting there. We are very close.
Yes, it is.
Good.
Which, any other questions about the hours before I move on to staffing? So the next little item on my agenda is that we have finally hired a reference and adult programming librarian. She will be starting on January 20th, so 2 weeks. It's the right after the holiday weekend. Her name is Talia Salem. She has actually done most of her library work out west. She did a lot of, she worked at the Austin Public Library, at the LBJ Library in Austin, and actually did a number of years working at the American Research Center in Cairo, Egypt.
Oh, cool.
It's kind of exciting. So we all really liked her. We thought she has a lot of really exciting ideas. I think she's going to be a really great fit for the team.
Could you spell her name for me, please?
Yeah. Do you want me to send it to you or spell it?
Either one is fine.
It's Talya.
Y-A. See,
Yeah.
I didn't do it. Okay.
Her full name is actually Natalia, but she always goes by Talia. And then Salem, just like the town, S-A-L-E.
I got that part.
Yeah.
I just knew I was going to end up spelling it wrong.
But yeah, this really, she is going to be technically part of the library's management team. This gives us a lot more flexibility with staffing and ability to manage the building, along with somebody to actually plan programs and staff a reference desk. So we're really excited about this.
Cool.
I had a question from our goal statement here, since you're talking about staffing.
Yeah.
Ensure staffing levels exceed library baseline service demands. That's quite a sentence. Like, where are we with numbers?
Yeah, we talked about that was one of the ones that we debated a little bit. Originally we had it written a little bit different, but the meaning of that is basically we don't want to just have the bare minimum number of people to open the building. We want to always have enough people that we can do more, that we're not stressing the staff that are present out because they feel like they're getting yanked in a million directions.
Where does the baseline numbers come from?
Well, so there's not exactly a baseline number. It's more just kind of library best practices, like having a children's librarian, having a reference librarian, having a young adult librarian, that kind of thing.
Not based on population or statistics for patron usage?
No, I mean, you can pull those.
You could use it if you really.
Yeah, you can pull those numbers. What we've been doing, I've mostly been sitting with my managers and trying to just talk
What do
out
we
what do we need? Where do we feel like the holes are? Where are the pain points? So hiring this reference and adult programming librarian is kind of the last piece of, at least what I feel like was the what we needed to do to get us to
Your
the
baseline,
baseline.
yeah.
Yeah, like this is the last position that I feel like we need to have filled to be like ground level functional. And then we've already developed kind of a next plan for the next positions that we'll be pushing for as well. Once I've had my budget meeting with Dory, I'll bring my proposed budget to the trustees so we can kind of go over and see the positions that I'm pushing for. But yeah, I've kind of, since I got here, I've sort of had the staffing plan broken up into 3 chunks. There's what we need to be baseline functional, which I feel like as of January 20th, we'll be there. And that's not took a year to get there. It's not too bad. Then the next stretch is kind of the positions that we need to kind of take that next step with the library, to be not just base level, but like now we're not just surviving,
Enhancing
we're
it.
thriving now. And then that third step is like, all right, now we can really do something exciting and different and new,
My
and maybe
taxes.
reach, yeah. So there's a few positions that I feel like we need to hire to really beef things up. But I think as of January 20th, we'll be at the bare minimum.
That's right.
I guess a logical bare minimum is, does it support the desired hours? Because right now we're still missing Saturdays, so that as a metric works.
I think for a library of our size, in a community of this size, we should be open full days on Saturdays. Most others are.
Yeah. I would
The
propose
brunch
then
goers, thank you.
yeah, I would propose it because I feel like you've been thinking so much about it, is maybe that would be a good one in the first round of action planning to just
Yeah.
put some of those metrics and like definitions around. Because I remembered that baseline where I was like, I'm surprised nobody asked about it. But Dan got in under the radar, so
Yeah, it's more a feeling than data driven.
Generalization.
Yeah, from what I've seen.
I think to your point, like being able to achieve salary hours, that's a clear metric, observable metric. So I feel like there's some of that is
being able to meet baseline.
knowing that you have like managerial coverage to stay open the hours while the managerial staff can maybe take some time off every once in a while.
Yeah,
That's a good metric.
That's making sure it's been nice with. We haven't had to strain too much for people to be able to take off, in the acceptable, the town granted amount of vacation. People should be able to take, at minimum, the time off that they've been given by the town, and not send the rest of the library into a panic.
Yeah. Well, it's a balance, don't you think, between stress level for
Yes.
staff
Yeah.
and then the complaints of people, there wasn't enough staff or hours don't suit the general needs.
Right. You can't find someone
It
to
is a
help you.
balance.
Yeah, it's a balance.
Yeah, I know. Not responding to public comment, but since there was public comment about Sundays, I would love to be open on Sundays, but staffing,
point,
we're
yeah.
we just need the people for it.
Right.
A lot of libraries, I think Worcester does this too. Shrewsbury was actually funded by an outside source for their services. The town did not pay for Sundays. It was all donor driven. And I think Worcester gets their Sundays from a separate fund as well. I'm not 100% on that one.
Something for a future conversation.
So those are Nan, you had a question earlier about the trustee
Right,
stuff.
we go with that.
Yeah, so Dave has been working on it. They haven't been super responsive. And then last week I was off, but the few weeks before that, I've had him buried in budgets. So it's budget season. So
Okay, as long as it's in the.
it is definitely,
pipeline,
he has been reaching out to them. I might jump in at some point if they don't answer him.
Well, let's start it. Who knows where their membership year begins and ends.
Right, yeah.
That might affect it.
Yeah, and they did have a note right on their website that their mailbox, they don't check every day. So
There you go.
that's fair. It's
So
all
we took a
volunteer.
holiday break too.
Yeah, I suspect something along those lines, yeah.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any other questions about any of my stuff?
Not. So we will move on to the next item, which is the discussion of BOT bylaws and possible vote. Lindsay, did you want to take the lead on that?
Sure. Yeah. So, and looking through some materials and things, just thinking about with the strategic plan, I was kind of browsing the MBLC site, and they have this whole guide for trustees, for kind of new trustees, and what is the role and all of that. And in one of those guides, there is a chapter on board organization and bylaws. And as I was looking at it, I thought, man, this could be a good starting point. Over a year ago, we had talked about getting a handbook together and creating just something that we can kind of help both govern ourselves, but if we ever invite a new member, it's a nice thing to be able to hand off and say, this is how we operate, right? This is how we function. It doesn't have to be complicated. We don't have to overthink it. But the bylaws would typically include, I'm reading off of the MBLC resource, right? That what is the purpose and objective of our board of trustees? What is the constituency we serve? What is our method for board and officer selection? What are the duties, appointments, term for the roles on the board? Again, naming our regular meeting times. How do we call special meetings, right? What's the mechanism for that if we ever needed it? Defining what constitutes a quorum. And I'm not saying that all of this isn't scattered in resources all over the place, but
Right, but precisely to that point,
Yeah.
because it's scattered, this gives us a defined set of standard operating procedures. so that information never gets lost.
Right, and you know, we had, a year and a half ago, I think we had created some standing committees or little ad hoc committees, but I feel like we never documented those. We didn't really have rules for how we create those, so it's more just putting in place. These can be 2 sentences, they don't have to be heavy, and the MBOC has lots of resources for how to do this. You know, what are the required reports and timetables for what we want to see, both from the director, you know, in terms of annual or fiscal reporting, but is there anything that we want to produce on a regular basis that we have to contribute to for whatever? Provisions for amending the bylaws, you know, do we want to put meeting attendance requirements? We all have a sterling record of attendance, but you know, I've seen some committees really struggle with attendance, and you know, so that's something to think about. You know, if someone ever were to step down or you know, need to step back, you know, what's the replacement process, and what's the provision for filling vacancies? Again, just reading off of this. So they offer sample bylaws that we could just start from
Yeah.
and just keep it simple. But I don't know, it just occurred to me, we're like starting fresh, new strategic plan, let's maybe start fresh as a board too, and you know, really be committed and have things defined and kind of get on the horse from our own end.
Right. And if you go right on the website of the various sample plans they have, they take different formats. So it's nice to look at kind of what's out there. But they define, you know, like, do we make decisions as a board? Are there unilateral appointments? Is it unanimous vote or majority vote? Like, this is an opportunity for us to just kind of establish how do we do things and make sure that they are on record.
Sure.
Because there are things we're going to forget. And as incoming people come in, we won't think to tell them, and it's just a really good place, a really good resource.
How much of a basic guideline is our own charter, our own bylaws, then allowing the trustees to operate?
The town charter
It's pretty vague.
it is very
It's
vague, so
very
it really just places responsibility for a number of things with the town manager, like the physical building, right? That's really the one point of contention. But and this is where these bylaws are really key. There was confusion about how much power we had for a while and what our role was. Now that we've sorted it out, it would be good for us to have our own document that really enshrines that, so that future administrations don't get it confused. We might not be able to dictate what happens to the building, and that's okay. But, you know, we do have an impact on collections policy, and here's who we are, here's what we do, here's how we do it.
Is there a committee updating bylaws at this point, town bylaws?
That's
Town charter, I don't know. I
No,
don't know
I
if they're
think they
touching
would-
that.
This was back in, I don't know, 19, that they began to have a new plan, so I wonder.
I'm not
that's
sure. We
yeah.
could look into it. I don't know.
I think somebody would have to. I think it's a whole rigmarole of opening the charter. So I
Yeah.
think that just
There was a request to reopen discussion about the charter in 2020 or so,
Yeah.
but that did not go anywhere.
Yeah.
Well, you wonder what mass general laws
You
give the power to trustee boards, or
know,
then
we
the-
did have that conversation. Oh, I'm sorry.
no jump in.
We talked about a conversation before that we were very uncertain. And I think what happened is when we finally got copies of the contract that the library directors have, we understood more clearly what our role might be, even in helping establish goals for the director. So I think we had, that was I would imagine that contract is the same that Mike has today, but I don't know that.
I don't think I have a contract. I think I'm at will. That was my,
with no
We've
conditions,
learned
was there?
something new.
when I filled out the Eris report, I asked Story, and that's what she said. So
So beware or enjoy, which way is it going?
I guess as long as I'm doing a good job.
Yes.
Right?
I thought, well, no, that's true, but there is things sometimes change pretty quickly, and it is a guarantee for certain things with the. And I thought that the library director for sure was one of the positions that did have a contract.
My predecessor might have, because I have occasionally seen reference to a contract.
Oh yes,
I just know I don't.
Yes.
Maybe because of, you know,
Yeah, Mary
there
would
was a
have
lot going
copy
on.
of that. I have a copy of it.
Yeah, maybe because there was, it seemed to be quite a
Well,
bit going
that's-
on at the
maybe-
library.
Sorry, Vera, can you finish? And then Matt, I didn't
Mary,
catch-
I don't.
Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
I think, Mary, it would be worth you having a conversation with Dory, because you've been involved in this stuff. And I think it's worth having a conversation with her to find out what the deal is with that,
I agree.
how that is different, whether that has any impact on.
Okay.
Because that contract was very explicit in what our vote was.
I'm not sure we need to go down that route. I was more likely to understand how Mass General laws provide for or disallow. That was my only concern, not to overlap with.
Okay, so Mass General Law establishes who we are, but the charter, because the charter can make the restriction around the building,
local,
right?
the
And
local.
so that's where we have that one restriction, the rest of MGL applies to us, but the bylaws would be like a layer under and just set how we
More
operate.
specific to.
Yeah, more specific
Yes.
to this individual body in Auburn as opposed to any
That
of
would be
ours.
fine, as long as we don't
I
violate.
thought rather than sticking a poker right in the middle of the fire, we could start on the outside. Hands a little, just
Don't wanna go too
figure out
far.
how we are organized, how we operate, and then we can maybe push forward from there. Because this would really just be about our roles, how we vote,
Yeah.
us as a team,
Agreed.
as opposed to our function in the macro environment. Because that's a
Never
whole
know
other
where
thing.
it ends up. That's good.
So, okay. So I don't know. Well,
I'd be happy to at least start trying to collect them and try to summarize them in some way, or just provide them for everybody. I call some libraries and see what they've got. Besides the one from NVLC.
Sounds good. So I don't know, because we don't have bylaws,
much.
how do we, what's our step here? What do we do?
Well, I
Are
mean,
we-
so typically we would set up a committee to review their sample bylaws. We can reach out to other ones. So we would set up a committee to begin exploring and comparing the materials and kind of develop a draft to review.
Agreed. Agreed.
So do we volunteer? Do we, how do we?
Well, it sounds like Matt's already volunteered.
Did you hear that,
I would
Matt?
love in on that. I would love in on that because I like policy and whatnot.
So I think my question, because my question is, I know we have one more item, but will we include that as an item to explore if we meet on Thursday, February 8th, which is that we're switching to Thursdays next month.
Okay.
So question, should we open it up for discussion? Should we, I know in the past, what we did is we created subcommittee, Vera and Matt were the leaders on that and I joined, but they were very instrumental in just exploring everything and bringing all the materials. Yeah, that was the collections policy.
Yeah.
So question, how do we want to move forward? Because I feel like so much has happened and you've done so much work that I don't want to overburden people to say, oh, let's start a subcommittee now, but rather maybe we bring it to an item in February, explore it a little bit, and then decide if we want to think about a subcommittee.
Well, so Matt and Vera just independently do some research. They're volunteering to do that and get the
Set it up.
conversation started. Two people
So
does
we're-
not a subcommittee formally make,
That's
right?
correct. That's correct.
And so if you guys want to just team up and make some phone calls and get an initial scope of this, and then we can decide at the February meeting based on what you find out if we feel like we need something more formal or if we can just, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, okay, so Matt, right? How did we do this? When we did collections policy, did we have a vote? Did we just say we're gonna jump in and work on it together? Do you remember?
I think that's what we did.
Okay. So we'll look at the comparisons. Go ahead.
Mary, I think, appointed us to doing the collections development policy to present something to the Board of Trustees on it.
All right,
So she appointed us to do that. So that, my guess is it'll be fine.
but that's all right. So, okay, so we'll jump in, get it going, talk a little bit more about it at the next meeting, and then we can officially become a subcommittee.
Does that work for you, Matt? Does that work for you?
Yeah, that's
Okay. So then that would be the Thursday, February 8th meeting. That would come up and we would
Yeah.
explore, we'd have some materials to, and then we decide what to do next.
Just one clarification, it's February 5th is the first Thursday in February. This month was.
I
was the
stole that
Thursday.
from the
Thursday.
notes. So February.
Yeah,
1st,
I
This
thought
Monday.
that's what I had in my notes.
This month would have been the 8th if we had done Thursday.
Okay,
If
so it's
next
the
month
5th?
is the 5th.
Thank
if
you.
We're gonna do the first Thursday.
No, it's okay. And I had second in the agenda. So I just wanted to make sure that we were clear that we're moving to Thursday for the next meeting. So
I'll correct that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
does that sound like a plan?
Works for me.
All right, so the last item before we move on is the building expansion update.
So I don't have,
I'm sorry, what did you say, Matt?
Oh, I just wanted, Vera, do you have my phone number? If you don't, I'll email that to you.
I do have your phone number. Did it change recently? Is it still the same phone number?
Perfect.
He's in
Okay,
Florida. Yes,
Good
yeah.
phone number.
Okay.
Good.
we're
All
good.
right, excellent.
We've got this.
Excellent, very good.
Sorry.
So any update on the building expansion?
short answer, no, but I will definitely have significant update next time because I've been on vacation for a week and a half and I just got back and I did have an email from the architect with some updates, but I need to go through those and I need to talk to Dory about that. But I will definitely have some updates, probably including a tentative price figure for next time.
Great.
Very good. Are there any comments, questions before I move to our next meeting? Just clarifying when that is before we adjourn. Just want to say it again because I know we used different numbers. So what we agreed upon is our next regular BOT meeting will be scheduled for Thursday, February 5th at 6 p.m. hybrid, but we will be, those of us that are live, we will be here in the Merriam Room. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Those who are not alive will be elsewhere.
You know, after I said that, it just, I caught that, so sorry about that. You had to let me have it, I know, I'm okay with it. Only you though, Matt. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I have second?
Second.
Excellent, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
We're closing the meeting at 7:01 p.m. Thank you, Matt.